Coming up, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana COPEC warns fuel prices to jump by some 11% from August 1 as crude oil prices rises and Cedi weakens. Also, government chases 5.866 billion cedis in treasury bills, targeting sixth straight of a subscription as 364-day borrowing costs nears 13%. Plus, financial expert tells government to protect Bank of Ghana's independence to secure growth.
The Bank of Ghana must retain its independence. We must not pressure Dr. Isiama to loosen the purse strings. We must keep the discipline.
I am Michael Obodo. Details of these and many other stories lined up for you. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying. Straight into our top story. And fuel consumers in Ghana should brace for higher prices at the pumps from Saturday, August 1, 2026, as fuel prices are expected to increase by up to 11%. That is according to projections released by the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana COPEC, which blames the expected increases on rising global crude prices and a weakening Cedi. This report has the details.
COPEC warns that these factors will push up the retail prices of petrol, diesel and LPG. For petrol, COPEC projects an average pump price of 15 cedis 95 pesos per litre. That is a 9.36% increase from the current average of 14 cedis 59 pesos. Prices are expected to range between 15 cedis 16 pesos and 16 cedis 75 pesos depending on what oil marketing companies charge. Diesel could see an even bigger jump, with international free-on-board FOB prices up nearly 25%. COPEC estimates diesel will sell at an average of 19 cedis 45 pesos per litre, up from 17 cedis 76 pesos. That puts the expected range from 18 cedis 48 pesos and 20 cedis 42 pesos, representing some 10.78% increase. COPEC projects LPG will retail at around 13 cedis 80 pesos per kilogram, following a 12.24% rise in international prices. The Chamber is calling on government to introduce urgent measures to cushion consumers, warning that the increases could put more pressure on households and businesses already grappling with cost of living challenges. Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority (NPA) has raised the minimum price thresholds for petrol by 9.4%, diesel by 18.3%, and LPG for the first pricing window of August.
Now, that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, government returns to the domestic money market today to raise 5.866 billion cedis through its weekly treasury bill auction. The exercise, designated as Tender 2018, will cover the usual 3 tenors of 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day bills as government seeks 6th straight of a subscription. This report has more.
The auction comes after a strong showing in Tender 2017 on July 24, 2026, where government secured its 5th straight oversubscription. Officials are now targeting a 6th consecutive oversubscription, a trend that has given the state enough breathing room to fund its operations locally without turning to the more costly external market. According to 3 Business, sustaining investor appetite will depend on government's ability to maintain fiscal discipline while keeping inflation on a downward path. The cost of borrowing, especially on the 364-day bill, has climbed to nearly 13%. At that level, 3 Business is warning government could face heavier debt servicing obligations in the second half of the year, even as it continues to rely on domestic instruments to plug its financing gap. Market observers say sustaining investor confidence will depend on keeping inflation in check and maintaining fiscal discipline through the rest of 2026.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, financial expert and Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, has called on the Bank of Ghana to do everything possible to retain its autonomy. Speaking on the need to sustain recent economic gains, Mr. Jackson said government must demonstrate commitment to monetary and fiscal discipline. According to him, keeping that discipline is key to transforming the current stability into inclusive growth and improved living standards for Ghanaians.
Even the debt destruction is not completely done. There's some commercial debt issues that must be tackled. So let us not think that everything is okay. It is not. And the Bank of Ghana must retain its independence. We must not pressure Honorable the Honorable Kasiel Atufosin to spend. Least of all, we must not pressure Dr. Isiama to loosen the purse strings. We must keep the discipline. Keep the discipline. Keep the discipline.
So that was finance and tax expert CEO of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, speaking. Global professional services firm EY says Ghana's economic recovery is becoming increasingly credible, supported by stronger fiscal discipline, moderating inflation, resilient economic growth, and improved external buffers. However, the firm cautions that the country must sustain reforms, strengthen domestic revenue mobilization, and accelerate investment in infrastructure if recent macroeconomic gains are to translate into long-term economic transformation, job creation, and higher living standards. This report has more.
In its assessment of the 2026 media budget review, the firm says improved fiscal discipline, easing inflation, and resilient economic growth have strengthened confidence in Ghana's economic outlook and signaled the shift from crisis management to reform execution. However, EY cautions that fiscal consolidation must be balanced with increased investment in infrastructure and other productive sectors to support private sector growth and employment. The firm also notes that weaker than expected revenue performance remains a challenge, urging government to improve tax administration, reduce leakages, and broaden compliance without placing additional burdens on businesses and taxpayers. EY further backs Ghana's planned transition from the IMF Extended Credit Facility Program to a facility coordination instrument, describing it as an important step in maintaining investor confidence and preserving reform momentum. It also stresses the need to rebuild the country's sinking fund ahead of more than 111 billion Ghana cedis in domestic debt repayment due between 2027 and 2028, while ensuring that funding for critical sectors such as infrastructure, education, and healthcare is not compromised.
We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 11 cedis 69 pesos worth. It's gained 3 pesos worth. The British pound is selling at 15 cedis 74 pesos worth. It's gained 25 pesos worth. The euro is selling at 13 cedis 48 pesos worth. It also gained 21 pesos worth. However, be guided that these figures could be higher at a forex bureau. On the global commodities markets, Brent crude is trading at $89.31 per barrel. Gold is trading at $4,103.97 per ounce, up by $36.41. Cocoa is trading at $5,112 per ton, down by $73.
And that's how we end today's edition of Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more stories, kindly check out our website at 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe.